Good morning and welcome back. It is definitely the morning. I haven't even really had my morning coffee yet. It's been a minute since I've done a diary of being a new dungeon master. I guess the reality is it's been a couple weeks. It hasn't really been that long, but either way, it feels like it's been forever. I just a couple things I wanted to talk about in this video. I wanted to talk about improv and also kind of improv rewards, which is different than planning loot. I'll explain it in a minute. So this last session, I completely winged it. And I'll tell you why. There's a reason to it. The party had just completed some definite self-contained quests. Now they have a little bit of time before they have to either hightail it or defeat this lord that they promised to defeat for the good of the surrounding countryside. Anyways, they had a number of things they could do, and they had a number of places they could go if they wanted to, because they had plenty of time left before supposedly anything would happen. So that actually went better than I thought it would. A lot of it, though, was them kind of recovering after completing Harlan's Gambit, which is basically my own version of a funhouse dungeon. So they collected their rewards from that. They went around town seeing what they could improve with their gear and whatnot, given the money they had received and the items they had received from said funhouse dungeon. So that took a little bit, and that was easy to improv. They're walking around to shops, whatever. Oh, welcome back. What are you buying? What are you selling? That kind of stuff. That's not too difficult. But here's where I get to my next point. I don't know if reward is the correct term. Here's what I mean by that. I'll just give you an example straight from our session, right? The party had time left, and they felt that they wanted to use that time to see if there was anything that the town needed taken care of, i.e. monsters, monsters that had scales on them so they could create scaled armor for the druid who's not allowed or will refuse to wear any kind of metal. And as I'm saying that out loud, that is fairly specific. And as a DM, I wanted to give them you want to give the players what they want, but they walked around town, they went down to the Druid Grove, they were talking to the Druid Grove, hey, is there anything plaguing the town, any monsters that are causing you guys trouble? And they mentioned some lizard folk in a distant coastal wood, which that's actually fairly accurate to Sword Coast lore, but it was far away from where they are. So what I did was I had them say, well, there has been some sort of, a couple miles up the river, looks like some sort of dragon-like creature. I don't know, it's only been here a couple of years. It hasn't really started plaguing the countryside or anything, but you know how those things go. The older a dragon gets, the more powerful it gets. So I gave them that. And I said, it's about 5 miles up the river. They had entered these caverns that ran underneath Daggerford from the forks of the river that had been eroded away, and long story short with that, they fought a few guard drakes, which are actually a homebrew monster that I found online. And then it ended up leading them to fighting their first dragon of our Dungeons and Dragon campaign, which, is cool. They fought it. It was a young blue dragon wormling or something. It was the lowest one they could fight, which actually, it took a while, but they handled with quite a bit of ease. They also, the past couple sessions, have been mentioning an animal companion for the druid as they were searching for this dragon threat. They went into some caves, they fought some wolves and a couple brown bears, and our druid ended up taming and awakening this brown bear with his staff that had a slot for an awakening spell, which, again, I was kind of told that that's a pretty high level spell. I don't know, for level 4s. I don't know. Either way, that's the way it happened. So all that to say, so far it's kind of been like, if the party wants it, I find a way to give it to them relatively quickly. I told them after this funhouse dungeon where they amassed a decent amount of gold, a lot of silver, a handful, and by a handful, maybe 2 handfuls of magical items. And I told them right away, I was like, hey, by the way, don't get used to all this loot. If you guys have watched my past videos, you know that balancing loot and magic items and all that stuff to the level they are and all of that, considering that they want to take this campaign out to at least level 20 or so, you know, I've given them quite a bit of stuff. And I told them, I was like, don't get used to that, because I've been trying to find a good balance, and B, y'all are flush with cash. Like, so I've been finding a balance with loot and magic items and stuff, but now what I'm realizing is also, if the party says, and talking amongst themselves or talking during the game, man, we really need to find this, or I want to go see if we can find this, I find a way to give that to them. And I don't think that's really all that realistic. I don't want to make it too hard to where they're like, oh man, you never give us stuff, because that's been said almost every session somehow, which is crazy to me because I feel like I've given them a lot of stuff, notwithstanding what I envision. And I go for some semblance of realism. I know it's Dungeons and Dragons, and I know it's in the Sword Coast, but still, I try to keep it some semblance of realism. You think it's in kind of like a medieval type style era, they're not going to be able to just walk into a town and be like, man, you guys got any dragons I can kill so I can make scale armor? And they're like, oh, matter of fact, we got one right up the road. That doesn't happen like that very often. You have to go searching for these things, unless the big bad of an area does happen to be that creature. So I don't want to be a dick and not let them get what they would like to find. But at the same time, especially under the time crunch they don't have a whole lot of time to go out searching for stuff. But at the same time, for level 4, what I've heard and the conclusions that I've made is they do have a fair amount of stuff for level 4 adventurers. I don't know. Either way, that's kind of my thoughts on this last session. It sounds like I've been a little bit negative, but actually we had a really good session. It was really fun. It went really smoothly. There were really no hiccups. We had a good time, and we actually played for like 6 hours. Seriously though, I know it's like a YouTube thing for people to say this, but honestly, what do you guys think? If you guys are DMs and you guys have encountered stuff like this, how often do you reward your adventurers or play into their desires of what they want to find, things they want to find so they can craft, or treasure they want to find? And how often do you make that specific for each player so they can have something very unique and specific to that player only, i.e. a thief finds gloves of lock picking, whatever. Anyways, please let me know. I actually really do want to know you guys' input on this so I can be a better DM. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. I want to tell you real quick, I have been planning on starting another section of this channel where I want to review board games, but not from the view of like an expert that's been playing or reviewing games for years. Just something as somebody who's like, use basic terms instead of like, oh, the economy for the players doesn't actually reward in the end because the game mechanics are innovative yet a little lethargic. No, this would be like, all right, the game was fun, it was a little slow, and it really didn't pay off in the end. Something like that. And then last but not least, we are having a session this weekend, but it's actually not going to be part of this campaign. We're going camping with a huge group of people. We have myself and another guy. We're both going to be DMing the same scenario if enough people want to play. We're going to do a one-shot. So I will definitely come out with a video next week describing that and talking about how that went. Anyways, again, please let me know what you guys think about this last week, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.